Welcome to another edition of Whiskey, Games, and Nerd Stuff. Today's whiskey is actually just going to be some good old regular coffee. Let's go ahead and take a sip. Nothing like morning coffee. Just didn't feel like putting anything in it this morning. And today's Nerd Stuff is a comic book that I briefly remember from back in the day, and I had came across a batch a little while ago, and so I picked up all the ones that this particular store had. That is Red Sonja. So Red Sonja is a comic book character that was originally loosely based on Robert Howard's Red Sonja character, if I recall correctly, and he was the creator of Conan. So this is the Marvel comic book series that was in the late 70s, early 80s, if I recall. This is actually in issue number 2 of a limited issue series that I came across. Let's go ahead and move this coffee over. And this next batch is the main run that they had. And again, I think it was from the late 70s to the early 90s. Or sorry, late 70s to early 80s. This is Red Sonja, She-Devil with a sword. It's pretty cool. It's a cool issue. Not sure who this is in the background. This is issue number 3, Red Sonja, She-Devil with a sword. Sorry, did I say issue number 3? Issue number 4. Issue number 5. Kind of a cool cover. Issue number 6. Issue number 7. 8. Really like this cover. I think that's kind of a cool, it's like a cool D&D type cover. 9. And 10. This really is a cool cover. This would be a cool poster. Let's go ahead and put these back in over. So I don't know if anybody remembers, there was also a movie after, I think it was after the Conan the Destroyer. There was a Red Sonja movie that, if I recall correctly, I think it was Bridget Nelson, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it too, but I believe Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't actually play Conan in the Red Sonja movie. He played another character, I want to say it was Kadar or Kaidar, that was actually loosely based on Conan. But let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to go ahead and open this just to see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and open up this issue. That would be cool to flip through one of these. Let's go ahead and move these over to the side. Take a drink of my coffee real quick. And let's take a look at what's in one of these issues. So this one was from 1985, it looks like, this limited series. Does anybody remember Mask, the cartoon show? So you can see it's definitely a fantasy element to it. Good old Fig Newtons. I always like looking at the advertisements in these comics. I always find it kind of interesting. Oreo. Glow-in-the-dark posters. Anybody remember those? What's this? Okay, so this is, if anybody remembers, this is an advertisement for the Saturday morning cartoon lineup in 1985 to 1986. So it looks like it had the Snorks, which, if I recall correctly, I think the Snorks were the Smurfs underwater. Then you had Adventures of Gummy Bears, Smurfs, the Punky Brewster cartoon. I don't even remember Punky Brewster as a cartoon. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Kid Video. Don't recall who Kid Video was. Mr. T. I definitely remember the Mr. T TV series. Mr. T was very big in the mid-'80s. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which is where Firestar came out of, and then Plus One to Grow On, which I don't remember that much, but I do definitely remember several of these. Here is an advertisement for some cartoons that were on Saturday on CBS. Let's see, you got the Dungeons and Dragons, looks like, CBS Story Break, Charlie Brown and Snoopy. You got the Bernstein Bears, the Wuzzles, the Young Astronauts. It looks like in Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. I don't have no memory of that. And then Jim Henson's Muppets, Babies, and Monsters. Let's take a look. And one thing you'll notice on these, unlike other more newer advertisements, there is not one website on any of these. So that was something to kind of get used to. And back then in these, they would not have had any websites, URLs, anything like that. Okay, and then here is an advertisement for, looks like Secret Wars 2. And then some coupons that you could actually order your magazines that come. And then Morpho Droids. I remember GoBots, but I don't remember the Morpho Droids. So anyway, let's go ahead and put that back in the box real quick. Really would be curious to see if what people remember from the Saturday morning cartoons, if you had a particular favorite or fondness for something. And then also would love to hear those who remember the Red Sonja comic book, whether it was the limited series or the run that happened on this. How many remember the movie? And am I remembering correctly that Arnold Schwarzenegger was not playing Conan in that movie? And was it, in fact, Bridget Nelson, or am I misremembering? I vaguely remember or talk about a TV show, Red Sonja, but I don't remember for sure. And I believe Dynamite Comics has had a more recent run. I think it's either they or maybe it's the, I'm not exactly 100% who owns the rights to Red Sonja. But, you know, does anybody remember or have a particular fondness for these Red Sonja comic books from back then? Does anybody remember the movie? Did you like the movie? Oh, let's go ahead, and it looks like this is, I just noticed. Not sure when that happened, but I just noticed that that little lip came down. And yeah, so for those that don't know, I just turned this camera on and talk. So, you know, I can count the times on one hand where I've actually edited anything on this. But it's one of those things where I kind of just turn this on and like to talk and kind of show some of the stuff. I find it very therapeutic, and you know, I always figure, you know, it's one of those things where maybe other people might find this stuff interesting as well. Would love to hear your comments on Red Sonja, the comic books, the movie, the Saturday morning cartoons, what you remember, what you don't remember from these. And do you want me to open up another issue of one of these and see what these ones look like? I mean, I can go ahead and open up this one real quick and just do a quick flip through. Let's go ahead and open that. And let's take a look at this one really quick. So this is number 2 of the She-Devil with a sword. And this is showing 83. So again, you got, check out this D&D set. Bubble Yum advertisement, utility belt for Spider-Man, Grit. Does anybody remember Grit? You've got these random advertisements that you would get for these back then. And again, remember, there's no websites on any of this, even the stores. You've got D&D from when TSR owned D&D. Currently it's owned by Wizards of the Coast. And as you can tell, these aren't in mint condition. These are just comic books when I come across it. If I see a really good deal, I like to pick them up. You know, I like to kind of flip through them and read through them. It brings back a lot of memories. More of these random Muscles in 7 Days. I always thought it'd be kind of cool to open these up and kind of read through an issue. Do a series where we read through an old computer game. I think that's the Atari. I'm not sure which one this is. It's not the Atari 2600. A Magic? Yeah, I don't remember which game system this is, but Super Cobra, Parker Brothers video game. This is what it was back in the day. But again, would really love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on these comics. Red Sonja in particular. Did you? And again, the movie. If you enjoyed the content, if you stayed this far, really would have appreciated it if you liked, subscribed, all that fun stuff. Again, this is just something I kind of turn on the camera and do. I initially did this because I travel a lot and I end up spending a lot of time alone, and I found this was just kind of something fun to do, and I really like this stuff. You know, again, I like whiskey, I like games, I like nerd stuff, and anybody who's watched other videos, you'll never know what I'll talk about. It's just kind of whatever random things that perks up that I tend to like. But again, this was Red Sonja. Let's go ahead and take our last sip of coffee. Once again, I really do appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. Please write, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And until next time, cheers.